Bonjour, mes amis. Je suis l'Allergie Canadienne, and welcome back to NFL Week in Review. Where I take all the games from the previous week and I try to review them the best I can and see what other bullshit is spewed on about the past week because I'm a smart ass. This week it's week 10 action, and we quite kind of honest, okay? This is a weird week for a good amount of reasoning, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But we'll get ourselves into it. Thursday night football. The one game I didn't watch because I was at a Boston Bruins hockey game that night, so I was not able to watch it. But yeah, Dolphins, Ravens. The referees absolutely shit the bed with this one. They robbed us of a fat guy touchdown. And this is a battle between good team and shit team. Good team and shit team. Mark Jackson tried his best, but no, it just was not meant to be. Bateman getting 80 yards. Andrews getting 63 yards at a TD. Jackson throwing for 238, even getting a touchdown pass and a pick. But it was not enough to stop the Dolphins, apparently. During the game, Brissett went down with an injury and insert Tua Tagovailoa. Injured and all. Yeah, Tua comes into the game and somehow the Dolphins win? Wait a minute, they beat the fucking top team in the AFC North. How the hell did they beat the fucking Ravens? How the hell did the Ravens lose here? What the fuck happened? What is going on? Like, are we gonna have a fucking another thing of like upset week or some shit? Like, what in the God's name is this? I don't even know what to say. Like, somehow they fucking pulled it off. I digress though. 22-10, Miami somehow beats Baltimore just because, I guess, because apparently the football guys don't give a shit about anything. Let's go to Sunday. Sunday. We got the first game between the Saints taking on the Tennessee Titans in what could be described as okay. Game wasn't that eventful. I mean, if you're kind of putting in the context, it wasn't overly eventful. Trevor Siemian actually had a nice game again, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Melvin Ingram on his return, or one of his returns at least, I don't know. 47 rushing yards and a touchdown. Harris, 84 yards and a touchdown. And this is not Damian Harris of the Patriots. This is Deontay Harris. Different guy. But in the end, somehow the Titans just did better. Tannehill threw for 213 passing yards on the TD. Foreman for 30 rushing yards. And Johnson for 100 receiving yards on the day. And this barely helped the Titans beat out the Saints. And by that, I mean it only took 2 points. 2 points is all it took. 23-21 your score. The Titans improved to 8-2 and are pretty much going to be a lock for the playoffs going in as the AFC North champions. But that's assuming that they don't collapse, which there's really nobody to replace with the top, so they got a pretty good shot at taking that spot. But again, I digress because it's fucking football. Anything can happen in football, right? Bills, Jets at MetLife Stadium. Josh Allen overcoming the hiccups of a score of 6-9 last week, and apparently, from what my friend told me, was Jacksonville's first win on U.S. soil in 420 days. So not only do we get a nice 6-9, but we also get a nice 420. That game may as well be the fucking greatest game of all time. That may as well be the greatest fucking game ever to play in football. I don't care what anyone else says. But what was also great was the Bills shit stomping the Jets because the Jets shut everything up. Jet. Again, Josh Allen, 366 passing yards. Freaking Stephon Diggs, 162 receiving yards and a TD of his own, en route to a 45-17 victory over the Jets. And a weird stat line, the Jets have now allowed 75 points in 4 games. 4 games. No, I'm sorry. 175 points in 4 games. You want to know how you basically tell me your franchise is mediocre without directly telling me your franchise is mediocre. I'll go first. My team, not really, but we're going to go with it. My team allowed 175 points in their last 4 games. In the last 4 games. Because logic, right, guys? And that's fucking logic. 45-17, like I said, your score. Mike White had a shit game. 4 fucking picks. It was so bad they had to bring in Joe Flacco. Yes, I am serious. That's how you know this Jets team is horrible. But you remember how I said earlier that anything can happen in football? Take this game, for example. Lions, Steelers in the Yinzer Field. Well, it's also called the Ketchup Field, but also known as Heinz Field. They both teams play like shit. Detroit was, trying to get its first win. Pittsburgh was trying to stay on track of trying to get themselves back up in the standings in the AFC North. But this game sucked. There's no other way to put it. This game was horrible. Oh my, seriously. What other game could top the fucking dumb shit that was this game? I'll give you an answer. Nothing can. Jared Goff tried for 114 yards. DeAndre Swift with 130 rushing yards. Captain Fat Fuck. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Because Captain Fat Fuck was out on COVID reserve this week. So therefore, insert Mason Rudolph, aka the guy that had the helmet slammed on his head by his own helmet by Myles Garrett. And then we had to go to overtime to try to settle this, but with about less than 10 seconds left in the game, Pittsburgh ball, fumbled, Detroit recovers, and for the first time this season, we have a tie. A fucking tie. Congratulations, Detroit. Your losing streak is over. Yay. But your winless streak still continues. Now you have an extra 1. Just not where you want it to be, though. So the score here, 16-16. And what's worse for Steelers? Oh boy, it's not even worse yet. Mr. TJ Watt got injured and is likely out for the remainder of the season. Yikes. Get better, Mr. TJ Watt. We're all rooting for you. Get better. Colts Jaguars in the glue factory of Indianapolis once again. The first quarter was good. Sad thing is, it can't be said about the rest of this game. The Colts came out swinging in the first quarter. They were up 17-6 after the first quarter. From there, field goals by both sides in the second quarter. No points in the third quarter. Jaguars getting 8 in the fourth quarter when the Colts won an extra field goal. Football, everybody. The sport where everything makes sense. Nope. And nope. Lawrence again looked like shit. Only completing under half of his passes, going for 162 yards. And Agnew getting a 79 yards on 3 carries and a touchdown. At least he did something this week. But nothing could do anything to help the Jaguars. 23-17 is the score. The Colts are actually 5-5. Huh. Folks are actually trying to get themselves out of the hole, huh? Carson Wentz didn't do much better though, but he did manage to actually connect at least half of his passes for 180 yards. Pittman did all right. Jonathan Taylor did splendidly well. Even getting himself a touchdown on 21 carries and 116 rushing yards. Great job, Colts. You actually got yourself to 500. And now we go to this game. The almighty Washington football team take Tom Brady's Buccaneers. Makes sense. Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, save two first letters. The Tom Brady Buccaneers. It's not even Tampa Bay anymore. It's just Tom Brady Buccaneers. Tom Brady's Buccaneers. Maybe look, just call them that. But unfortunately, Tom Brady's Buccaneers couldn't get anything done. And this was unfortunately coming with a price for the football team. During the play, Mr. Chase Young unfortunately suffered a season-ending injury. I believe, if sources are correct, it was I'm gonna try and find it. I know it was an injury to Chase Young. It was on it was a torn ACL. Oh God. Yeah, I know what that feels like. Yeah, but get better, Chase Young. You are a beautiful fucking defensive end. But that was the cause for the football team to actually win the game. I scored 29-19, beating out the Super Bowl champs in their rematch from last year's wildcard game. Ironically enough, also in Landover, Maryland. But after the game, Bruce Arians kind of just said that we're a very dumb football team for losing to the football team. Because there cannot be any more football teams mentioned in that sentence. But I think he actually looked good, 256 yards. And Antonio Gibson getting himself 64 rushing yards on 24 carries and 2 touchdowns. So that's something. Next up, Patriots Browns, and what can be described as a massacre? What can be described as the Boston Massacre, but except instead of the British doing it against the American colonists, it was the Patriots doing it to the Browns. Mac Jones, Mackery Dackery Jones, completing all but 4 passes in the game, getting just shy of 200 yards, but he has his first 3 touchdown game. He threw 3 touchdown passes in just under 200 passing yards. Ramondre Stevenson, you beautiful bitch. 20 carries, 100 yards even, 2 touchdowns. Sorry about that. But yeah, freaking Stevenson, 100 goddamn rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. Kendrick Bourne, 98 receiving yards on 4 catches, and he gets a touchdown of his own. Jacoby Myers has his first NFL touchdown. We're getting just under 50 yards on 4 receptions. But it got so bad that they have to bring in Brian Hoyer to just kill the game. What resulted was him completing an 85-yard drive and getting a touchdown out of it. And by a touchdown, I mean just a simple touchdown pass. Because, well, all things considered, the Browns really shit the bed on this one. And that's just the way it goes for the Browns. Excuse me 1 second. Okay, back into it. But the Browns, they tried. Mayfield was out there for most of the game, but got injured in the 4th quarter, eventually entering Case Keenum once again. D'Ernest Johnson again tried his best, 99 rushing yards on 19 carries, while also picking up 58 receiving yards on 7 receptions. So not a bad game for him all around. But final score here pretty much tells the whole story. 45-7. The Browns looked good at one point, and then just took a massive shit. just like Lamar Jackson did against them last season. But maybe this is a wake-up call for the Browns. And that's after they released Odell Beckham. We'll review his new home a little bit later on down the line. Sorry. Now, the next game we got here, the Cowboys and the Falcons, and oh god, it's another massacre. Well, what is it, 2 fucking football massacres in 1 week? Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Well, the only way I can describe this is the Falcons suck, LOL. And that the curse of Atlanta isn't really over. Maybe just for the Braves. Maybe just for the Braves it's over. Maybe the Hawks if they can get their shit together, but otherwise, no. It's still in there. Dallas absolutely fucking shit stomped them. It got so bad that they had to put Josh Rosen in for 6 plays. for a few plays. I don't think it was actually 6, but it was a minimum of 6. And that led to him throwing an interception. And only completed 1 pass on 6 attempts. Matt Ryan, who had 117 yards on only 9 completions, threw 2 picks. The only play that really came up with the Falcons this week was freaking Kyle Pitts. And Gallman. 60 yards for Pitts on 4 receptions and 55 yards for Gallman on 15 carries. Meanwhile, for Dallas, they just freaking, yeah. Prescott, 296 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Cooper Rush again, 3 for 3 with the passing, 17 yards. And now Ezekiel Elliott's getting in on the action, 1 for 1 on 4 yards. Elliott also had 41 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Well, rushing. He got an additional 15 yards receiving, but the main receiver today was CeeDee Lamb. 94 yards, 6 receptions, 2 touchdowns. And a score of 43-3. The Falcons suck. Honestly, I am not surprised. Panthers, Cardinals time in Arizona. But you see, with Sam Darnold hurt, they didn't want to turn to bench warmer PJ Walker. By the way, benchwarmer.com. They had to turn to an old friend. They knew an old friend had been gone since 2020, and they felt it was time for him to come home. Who is this friend, you may ask? His name? Cam Newton. He has returned to the Panthers on a 1-year deal worth $10 million. And oh wait, they actually did play PJ Walker? Oh. Well, that just made the whole series worthless. PJ Walker did all right, 167 yards, sure, but he threw a pick. Cam Newton was out there, completed 3 passes on 4 attempts for only 8 yards and a touchdown. Welcome back. And what's even better, Newton ran 3 times for 14 yards total, and he got a touchdown. So welcome back. In a game that Arizona was expected to win because, of course, Arizona did mediocre. Hey, you remember how well Colt McCoy did last week against the 49ers? Yeah, how about you try telling them to do that 2 weeks in a row? Because the answer is no. Only 107 passing yards and a pick. And it brought in Mr. Strevler, who completed 6 passes on 9 attempts. Very nice. Completed 36 yards with no touchdown. Shocking. And you know what happened because of this lack of offense by the Cardinals? They lost. Only their 2nd game this season that they've lost. By a score of 34-10 to the Panthers. Logic 100, kids. On to our next game, Vikings Chargers. In a game that was okay. It was okay. Cousins got nearly 300 passing yards and two touchdowns. Dalvin Cook had a nice little running game, 94 rushing yards and a touchdown of his own. Justin Jefferson is still a fucking godsend. 143 receiving yards, sorry, and on 9 receptions, but no touchdown, unfortunately. This just shows that Justin Jefferson is the key receiver moving forward for the Vikings. He is the receiver of the future. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Because he's that damn good. Just make sure he doesn't get injured. Because if he gets injured with a bad injury, chances are he'll never be the same again and you fucked it. But the Vikings, despite facing him against Mr. Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen getting about just about 100 passing yards. Herbert having a TD and a pick of his own, but that wasn't enough for the Chargers to beat the Vikings because the Vikings beat them 27-20. Good on you, Vikes. You actually won a fucking game. And now we get the battle of returning QBs. Russell Wilson, the man who had the broken middle finger and couldn't flip anybody off, versus the Green Bay Packers, led by Aaron Rodgers, who claims to be immunized with a very alternative treatment that was never submitted to the league, unless they find him. They find him in the Packers. I think it was $50,000 each. That's just the way it goes. Russ on his return, 20 for 40, 161 yards, and 2 picks. Everett did all right too, 63 yards on 8 receptions. And then meanwhile, Mr. Aaron Rodgers, 292 passing yards and an interception on 23 completions. Devontae Adams having 78 yards on 7 receptions. And A.J. Dillon lead in the rushing yards this week with 66 yards on 21 carries and 2 touchdowns. So good on you. Final score here, Packers 17, Seahawks 0. Seriously, 0. I guess they just can't shake off the mediocrity of Geno Smith. But no one's surprised. No one's surprised at fucking all, to say the least, because you know what? It is what it is. And for our next matchup, we got the Eagles taking on the Denver Broncos. Jalen Hurts versus Teddy Bridgewater or whoever's in QB this week. I have no idea. Probably is Bridgewater. Jalen Hurts looked all right. 178 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Howard with 83 rushing yards, and Smith for 66 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. They did all right against the Broncos, so much so that they won. Bridgewater looked like shit. Williams couldn't have the same real spark as he did last week. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name. I'll just say A-OK. With 77 receiving yards on 3 receptions. Final score of this game, it was simply 30-13 in favor of the Eagles. The Eagles just played better. I mean, there's really no other thing to say about that. And now we come to Sunday Night Football, Chiefs, Raiders, and the battle of who's more relevant nowadays. And it seems to be going right for the Chiefs, but for the Raiders, they got controversy filled to the fucking brim. Well, at least Derek Carr had a nice game with 261 passing yards. And Edwards being some sort of help. Well, is there anyone that the Raiders could call on to play receiver? Oh, there is? Well, who is he? Oh, hey, it's Deshaun Jackson, everybody. He gets 1 reception. How many yards does he get? 38. Not bad. It would help if he got more receptions or were targeted more, but I don't know how to check that, but that's okay. But the Chiefs, on the other hand, the Kansas City Chiefs are actually rocking 406 passing yards from Patrick Mahomes and 5 touchdowns. He managed to get his shit together. Travis Kelce with 119 receiving yards on 8 receptions. Tyreek Hill with 83 on 7 receptions and 2 touchdowns for him. Is Kansas City back, or do they just get lucky? You decide. By the score of 41-14, the Chiefs are now 6-4, which means they are no longer in the basement of the AFC West, as now the Broncos are. And honestly, unsurprisingly so. NFL, we turn our attention to Monday night Rams 49ers. And what can we describe as Rams what the fuck moment? So the 49ers kind of ran over the freaking Rams. Garoppolo had a nice game of 182 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. Deebo Samuel with 97 receiving yards and a touchdown. Eli Mitchell with 91 rushing yards, no touchdowns. George Kittle going 5 and 50 for a touchdown. And then there's just the Rams who just completely fall off a bridge. 243 passing yards though from Matt Stafford, a touchdown and 2 picks. Darrell Henderson, 31 yards rushing, and Cooper Kupp 122 yards receiving. But this game did come at a cost though, because they didn't have Mr. Robert Woods, and they will not for the remainder of the season, as he also tore his ACL. God damn. It sucks. I mean, it sucks this fucking season when you go down with an ACL injury. It just fucking changes who you are in terms of your physical ability. But don't worry, Rams. You do have another option. Would you like to know who that option is? Odell Beckham Jr. Oh, Christ. We forgot that part, didn't we? So, yeah. He decided to go off. By go off, I mean 2 receptions, 18 yards. That's it. Are you sure it wasn't Baker's fault that you dropped all those passes? Whose fault really was it now, bitch? My final score here, 31-10, San Francisco upsets the Rams. Oh. Now do for NFL scores, but on to some news. Let's see what we got. And like I said, I haven't checked it in a while, so oh no. But so here's a funny report that I just had to fucking take a minute to find. So apparently it was going to be Dwayne Haskins getting a shot at the game, but there was a good reason as to why Mason Rudolph played instead of Dwayne Haskins. And what is that reason, you may ask? The fucker was on his phone and throwing lousy passes. Good job, buddy. You fucked yourself. When you had a golden opportunity to start, guess who fucks it? You do. I don't know. Like, the NFL's a fucking joke. Also, the Packers stock sharing thing went up today, and at the time of recording, it is Tuesday, the 16th of November. And let me just say, I would not be paying $300 for a share. Kudos to you that do, but no, not for me. I mean, of course, Tom Grassi will enjoy it at least, because I don't know what the hell to do with a share of a football team. So, well, other than that, I got nothing else for football today. Thank you guys for tuning in. And don't forget, check out Ben Schwimmer Brew at benschwimmerbrew.com. Very delectable coffee. Very good tasting. Please do give it a check. And thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, leave a like. Comment down below what you guys want to see next if you have not done so already. Subscribe to my channel and join the electrical army. New videos out Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays with, the same old shit because I'm just a simple bitch. Mais anyways, guys, je suis là, j'ai Canadien. Bonne nuit et au revoir.